I turned $300 into $3 million.
How much did you make on your first season?
So on my first season, I made $15,000. So I started my business June 2021. I started it with $300 and I scaled it up to $3,000 in just 1 week. I didn't run ads. I didn't do anything. I just literally ran my triangle story, which is my business spiel. I didn't have any products. I didn't have anything. And I basically just posted a story, put it on Facebook and Instagram to my 300 followers. I basically was able to story tell really well, and people just wanted to get involved in the mission. So they went to my website, purchased things, and I let it run for 1 week, and then I shut it down because I didn't want to make any more sales with my current branding on my garments that I had. I shut down my website so I could start sewing QR codes into the bottom of all of the apparel. So when somebody asks what my designs say, I could actually pass them on to the translation pages.
Do you still sew in all your QR codes by hand?
So I no longer sew all of my QR codes by hand because I've made over $3 million. That would be a lot of sewing. So I started outsourcing after I fractured my arm from a stress fracture by getting carpal tunnel in my wrist and then ignoring it for 8 months and then having a stress fracture in my elbow.
What was the first time that you had like a public store or market?
My first time that I had a public store or market was when I quit my job in May of 2022. I made $15,000 in my first month after I created my best-selling collection, which is our Tuckerando Crest sweater. When I did that, I went from $15,000 over a few months to $15,000 in 1 month. So once I did that, I quit my job and I opened up a storefront in downtown Toronto at Stacked Market. I did a 4-week pop-up and I ended up selling out in 3 weeks.
Did you ever do vendor markets or anything like that?
The $15,000 that I made was from October 26th, I remember the date because of my very first market that I ever did, until December 31st. So I did markets until the end of the year, every Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sundays.
What did that look like?
I would work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I would assemble inventory right here in my kitchen for several days at a time. I would stay up pretty much all night, most nights. And I would make sure that my website orders were getting fulfilled, that I had enough stock for all of my markets. I didn't like going to markets and having things sell out, so I'd make sure that I had like at least 3 to 5 of every single size that I had available. And if I couldn't afford to keep that amount of size runs, I wouldn't have more products. So if I could only afford a sweater and a t-shirt in 3 small, 3 medium, 3 large, 3 extra large, I wouldn't add more designs until I could afford the full collection or capsule that I could bring to the market. Because the worst thing is when people come up to your booth and they want that one specific thing and it's not there.
What did your booth look like?
My booth looked like a storefront. So whenever I started off at markets, I would go out of my way to make it actually look like a store experience. So I would go out of my way to make sure that there was branded bags, that I had flyers immediately. I made sure that I had little stickers with QR codes telling people to go and follow me on Instagram. And I'd also have a very direct and easy way, if people didn't want to purchase then and there, to capture their emails or get them to my website very quickly.
What did that marketing and branding strategy do for you that set you apart from other people?
When I first started off at markets, every single customer that I spoke to, I'd make sure that I got their email address. And if somebody wasn't able to purchase anything, I would still try to get their email address or get them to follow me on Instagram. So all of this information is inside of our Markets 101 guide. So any vendor can start tomorrow or put better practices into place, even if they've been doing markets for 2 to 10 years. These are all things that I implemented because I was a store manager. And when I started off at markets, I just pretended like I was still a store manager inside of a little tiny 8x8 or 10-foot booth.